you're happy with what you do, it shows in your work. I always tell the animators that, like, we're making cartoons. Come on. It's like one of the best jobs we could have. Like, you know, making people laugh, or I know it sounds a bit corny, but it's true, right? We just have to, if we're feeling it as it goes through, it is going to show in your work. They say the same thing with somebody who's a baker, right? Or a cook. They say that person that really enjoys, you know, somebody can cook the same recipe. It just doesn't taste the same. But that person that's making it and just loves doing it, it comes out and everybody's like, this is amazing. You've done something different. No, it's just, I don't know. It seems corny, but I really do believe that. I think if you really like what you do, it shows. Your product will show.
Like, because someone asked me once, how do you grow your network? How do you grow your network of contacts? And that starts with your classmates. Like, those classmates become the initial network that you're going to cultivate and grow to find work. Those people are going to be sort of like your ears and eyes, and they're going to help you get your job. Like, that's how I got my first job. Was a classmate of mine. He got hired first, and he told the class, like, hey, I got a gig at Kaleidoscope. They're hiring, but you got to act now, because all these people, it's timing, right? Because all these people are applying. So that inside scoop is what you need. And the spirit of that conversation is that it starts with your class and your peers. And those people now that I relied on heavily to get a job, like my first job in TV, classmate helped me. My first job in film, it was a classmate. So this guy named Jacques Daigle, who actually just wrapped as head of animation on the SpongeBob movie in Montreal, he helped me get my first 3D job, and he helped me get my second film job. So Sony was my first 3D adventure, and it was my first film. And he also helped me get my second one to get the ball rolling. So the point is, you have to rely on your network, the initial network you're creating in your class. So treat people with respect, be kind, and treat others as you would like to be treated. So that's kind of the message there, is cultivate your network within your class.
I've been doing this now for 16 years, and I've never gotten to the point in storyboards where I feel like, well, that's just it. I know all there is to know, and I've perfected it, and I'm bored now. I've never felt that way. Every single storyboard, every show is a new challenge, and they're all a little different. And you find everything, something in every single show that you work on that you really like, that you can really enjoy, and you throw yourself into the story and the art, the drawing, and I think it's the best job.
I guess there's two types of portfolios that generally catch my eye. There's the one where it's just like, you tick all the boxes, right? Well, look at that good timing and spacing, and like they really know their arcs, and they've got an example of using rigged animation, and like that's a lot of what we do at the studio. And so it's just like, wow, they're going to be solid. They know what they're doing. They can kind of just hit the ground running. And then there's the other portfolio where it's just super, super clear that the person has a lot of passion. And usually those portfolios are filled with a lot of side projects. Like, some people will just have their industry work, or like the assignments, like the bare bones of what they did at school. And then there's the others that clearly go home and all they want to do is keep breathing life into their characters and keep imagining these worlds. And in my opinion, just animation is all about that. And you can teach people how to use a rigged build and improve their animation, but you can't teach that passion and that drive, and that's what's going to keep you in the industry.
There's kind of two things that happened to me that I think kind of played a part in me becoming a director. The first was like on my spare time while I was editing, I kind of cut together a trailer for one of the shows at the studio. And I think that the trailer was really well received. And it showed kind of like that I had an understanding of story, pace, structure, timing. And it actually ended up being the trailer that the show used for their first season. And I think it kind of like put me on the map a little bit as people kind of go, hang on a second, like okay, the editor did that. Like that's by themselves individually. Like, okay, that kind of like puts me in that group where they go, I think this person might be someone that might be able to do stuff. So from like a creative point of view, like it certainly like ticks a box, right? Like it goes like, okay, this person can do it. And then the second thing that kind of happened to me as well was that while I was editing, if directors or whoever was going on a vacation or they were sick, I would be the person to be like, hey, can I pop in and I can do that. And I think what that was it was great because I then got that hands-on experience with little to no risk. I wouldn't have to worry about like them firing me for stepping up. You know what I mean? And it was good because then I got that experience, but it also showed to the company, like, hang on a second. So this guy, he understood from a creative level, like what needs to happen, but now he's backing that up with that technical experience. And I think answering those two questions, like those are the two things that someone would ask if they were looking for someone in a new role. They would go, well, do you know how to do the job and have you done the job before? And I think if you can answer those questions, then I think it becomes really easy for someone to take a chance on you because they go, well, look, there's something there that shows this person knew how to do it.
I'm currently teaching here in Montreal at CYN Art School Studio. So when I looked into the portfolios of my students, I was quite impressed because the visual quality of their portfolios in many cases was pretty good, pretty much on par with the industry standards. But then I started teaching them and they started drawing in front of me with their original ideas, and they showed immediate struggle with just the drawing skill. And I realized that was because of the lack of the hours that they had spent actually drawing during their education. So I took him outside. We started sketching outside, just real people with real pencil, because that, for us as artists, what it gives is experience. It gives us the actual emotional connection with the subject that you draw. Because you're in the real situation out there, you're meeting this random people. They could be generic, could be funny, could be ridiculous or something, and that's triggers your imagination and your natural emotional artistic response to that real life experience. That's what makes art.
I think my favorite part about this job is when I showed up to this job, I was finally with my people. It was like the things I was interested in, the things I wanted to talk about, the kinds of jokes I liked making. Everybody else liked those things too. And everybody else actually knew what I was referencing, or they even had something else that they'd seen that I would like. And I got to hang out with those people and learn those things. And I didn't feel like a weirdo anymore. For the most part, if you can get the job done, it doesn't matter what your hair color is or what clothes you're wearing or like what you like to do in your off time. It's kind of great that way, and everybody kind of comes together for that collective goal, and we're all very different, but we're all very similar at the same time.
So the first thing I'm looking for is a range. And what I mean by that is different shots showcasing different abilities. So whether it's a fast action shot in one, and then you have an acting in another one, a combination of the two, walk cycles, run cycles. Just in my eyes, a demo reel is meant to showcase what your strengths are, what your skill sets are. So if you're only showing a very particular thing, then I don't know whether or not you can do the other thing. So I might be looking, if I'm on a show where it's very acting heavy, but you're showing me a lot of action shots, but I have another person that shows a lot of acting shots, not a lot of action shots, I'm going to lean towards the person that's showing me the acting because that's going to be more conducive to our production.
One thing that's really important is to not plagiarize in your demo reel and put on your demo reel what you actually did. Because I've seen demo reels where it looked amazing, and then you get them in the studio and you're like, did you actually do those scenes, or did you like do the first pass and then someone else revised it? Do you know what I mean? Like, because everything gets revised nowadays. So you work on a shot, you hand it in, and that, that's the last time you touch it. And then someone else takes it and, completely revises it. Just be honest about where your skill level is and pick your best shots. I'd rather see a shorter demo reel with your best shots than to really, pad it out with just some, like if it's really plain acting, it's just two characters talking and there's not a lot of acting put into it, it doesn't need to be on your demo reel.
Just really think about, does this show your true skill set? Like, can you, are your body mechanics right? Body language is a huge thing. Like that really shows a true animator if you've got that body language in there and you're not just solely relying on the face. And then the face is like the icing, like that is, then you get, obviously with your posing and stuff, and you have your eye line. Like we can get, if we can emote with the body, because we all do. I mean, I just did when I'm raising up my shoulders or, when I'm talking. So if animators get that into their shot and into their demo reel, then when I look at that, I know within a few seconds, ooh, I gotta keep watching this. Like it tells me that that person feels it, like the animator, when the animator says, I can feel it from here, like you can, the audience can feel it. So if you can get that into your demo reel, you don't need a 3-minute, 4-minute demo reel. You need 45 seconds to a minute.
Don't worry about amount of footage you need. If you're coming out of school, you're going to see reels online where people have had years of experience and they've got like 4 minutes of they're animating Marvel and everything else. And then you totally get anxious. They're like, oh my God, I'm not good. I can't get the job. That's not what it is. I think if you even have, 30 seconds to a minute, like a minute is really good of just solid animation. It's not really quantity. We just want to see that you're able to hit certain things at a good quality. And if you've got pieces, just put your best piece in the up at the start and put a really good piece at the end. So it's sort of like you want to start strong and grab their attention, but you also want to like leave a good taste in their mouth at the end. Sometimes I've seen demo reels where it's like the artist is trying to force themselves to put 2 minutes on, and there's a couple of pieces that I'm like, I wouldn't have put those on, and it's not stronger than everything you've done. So yes, there's a certain breadth of work that you want to showcase, but don't also it's not quantity over quality. So it's something that you have to manage for yourself.
Sometimes people will apply for the job and they won't have, they'll obviously have a style or something in their wheelhouse that they're obviously very good at. And when your whole portfolio is one thing that you're really, really good at, I'll look at that and go, yeah, but what we're doing on our show is a little different. It looks like you know what you're doing, but if I take you out of your wheelhouse, is that going to be a big problem? So I think in a portfolio, it's great to see people trying out a lot of different things, a lot of different styles. It helps to see that life drawing. It helps to see, here I can do cartoony, I can do, here's a sample of something in my portfolio that shows I have really strong acting and comedy chops, a lot of posing, funny expressions. But more than that, here's also, I can do solid perspective drawings. Here's a chase maybe through a city. Here's me drawing vehicles, drawing very mechanical looking things that are hard to move in 3-dimensional space. So being able to see somebody's portfolio with both of those things, and it shows me that you have a lot of range, and that if I give you a scene and go, here it's not a beautiful woman, it's not anime, it's not a cute fuzzy animal, I know you can do it because you've shown me that you can adapt to different styles.
So when I look at design portfolios, a lot of the little issues that I'm seeing, I think the artists really could have caught that themselves. If you just kind of go through your mind again on the fundamentals, seriously, I think it comes down to that a lot. And also as a character designer, I would recommend continuing to check your drawing in the mirror or flipping it in Photoshop, because you can really be your own second set of eyes there when you do that. And also, I think with a portfolio, it's important to tailor it to the kind of show that you want to work on and the kind of industry that you want to work in. So sometimes I see portfolios that are very beautiful, but it's clearly for a very, realistic kind of video game. So it's really hard to gauge someone's skills there. Just be very mindful about the kind of work that you're looking for, and making sure that the person looking at your portfolio gets a sense of who you are and what you want to do as well.
Like, I don't like animatics unless they are like done by a proper editor for the show you're working for. Because I often find junior, like straight out of school people, the animatics are so slow. So slow. And I'm not looking for your timing. I am looking for your math. So I want to see what your roughs look like. I want to see what your cutting patterns are looking like. Are you making good choices when you cut, where you cut, what you cut to? Is your perspective, fairly solid? And do you have just basic, decent draftsmanship? And just, there's kind of a feel, like, do I feel like you can do storytelling? Does it look like you kind of just get it inherently? Because I can teach you like the mechanical skills. I can teach you, this is a wide shot, this is a pan, this is how you draw this is how you draw that, but I can't teach the thinking skills as easily. So I try to look for someone who has those kind of baseline skills and that little extra something, someone I can grow into a board artist.
Trying to jump into another discipline, be very aware that you're going to walk into something and you're going to have weaknesses, but you're also not going to know how to do certain things that you don't even know how to do. There's going to be things that you don't even know that you need to know how to do. There's certain tasks that are completely like not on your radar. So when you go into it, that's what really helps to step into it, knowing that you have the right people around you. When I transitioned from 3D to 2D, I told Boots, our supervising director, and our creative director of the studio, Logan, I said, look, guys, I know what I want as a director. I know how to direct and supervise and guide people. I understand this and this and this. I understand editing, timing, story structure, more or less. But I wouldn't be right for this job if you didn't have a strong animation director on 2D, because I'm not going to be able to sit there and draw exactly what the artist needs to hit. And I will be weaker in design because I haven't spent a lot of time in design. And I was like, these are the things I can do right, and these are the things that you're going to have to carry me till I learn. And I was just outright honest with them because I knew those are where I couldn't do it. But I took the job because Red, our amazing other co-director, came from our direction. Boots, I'd known him, amazing storyboard supervisor and understanding a story. And I knew that, okay, with these guys' help, then I can succeed at this job. But if I just walked into it and they said, you want to be a supervising director for a 2D animated show, I'd be like, I'm not the right person for it, because I'm going to get the team angry and I won't be able to guide them and support them in the certain ways that they want to. So for me, it's always know your strengths, know your weakness, know that there's stuff that you don't even know that you need to know, and know that if there's the right people around you to support you for success.
I think generalists are great. I think they're kind of like the Swiss Army knife of animation. So for a feature, it's great, but it seems more suited for, like, an animated feature would be great, like a generalist, but it feels like those skill sets would be more suited for like a VFX kind of realm, or like video games kind of thing. So I think if you are a generalist, I would pick a discipline or an area that you find most interesting and are passionate about, and start to refine those skills so that they can you can break into those disciplines more full time. Like, those generalist skills are very valuable, and it's a great asset to the team. But I think it's important to like select one to make it your primary strength, so that it helps a recruiter be able to place you on a list. And then after that, if that's like, full and there's no room, you can say, oh, by the way, I also have these skills. So that's how I would kind of try to usher that. Like, the fixed animation job on Hotel was great because it enabled me to have that shot filing mindset, which helped me as a lead animator and a supervising animator. So it gave me that sort of connection and helped build that relationship. So that's why I think generalists are great. It's just select one discipline to sort of strengthen and become your main focus, and then use the other stuff for support.
Draw more on your own time, animate more on your own time.
Walk into the room like you know you've got this, and be happy that you're there.
Take care of your health. and make your own stuff.
Stop letting your social anxiety and introversion stop you from making phone calls. No one's mad at you for phoning them. Just, no one's mad at you for asking. Just ask. It's okay. They're not mad, they're busy.
You know, take things easy. Don't be too hard on yourself. Have a lot of patience for your own growth. And don't be afraid to admit that, you know, you want this big job and it seems so far away, but just giving yourself the patience and understanding that it will take a long time to get there, and that's okay. And that's okay to put out in the universe.
It's okay to take breaks if you're feeling burnt out. If the project isn't fueling your passion, there will always, so far, be another opportunity. So yeah, it's more important to take care of yourself than just chain contract after contract.
The road's really long. Just take care of yourself and the work at the same time. They're two sort of channels that need to happen at the same time.
Better English? Because my English was actually pretty good for an immigrant, but it was not as good for production. A good communication skill is really important, because in a fast-paced production like we are in the TV series industry, it's tough. You really need to be able to convey your idea very quickly, very efficiently. So a good communication skill is really important. It's not just artistic, right?
Go for what you believe in, and don't stop. Don't worry about failing and stumbling, because that's when you learn. You know, that's when you learn the most, is when you fail. You realize, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. How do I change? How do I improve that? And
be okay with like pushing for more. It's something obviously like I would still want to say to myself now, and there's always room to kind of keep leaning in and keep pushing. But you know, especially, and this is very topical, but especially for a person of color, I think the default is to kind of go like, I don't know if I really do belong here. So I'm gonna like just stand back and kind of let things happen to me. And I think sometimes ultimately you have to go to bat for yourself, and you really have to back yourself and be like, no, I do belong here, and I do have something to offer, even if there isn't someone that looks like me in that role.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to meet so many cool people. So all of the people you know right now that you really don't like, younger self, don't worry about it. You meet so many great people. Just I guess keep following your dream.